Hey Monica, I really enjoyed your video last week about gratitude and how it seems to be more noticeable in these circumstances, and also how you said that it comes from a feeling of being very settled. I've also become more settled over the years, and I've also noticed it better when there is a contrast of heightened concern and fear around me. And I think the feeling of settled and the reason why it can upset other people is because it is not connected to circumstance, because it comes from a place outside of circumstance, and that can be disconcerting to people who are always tying their emotions to circumstance. For me, I found that my sense of settled and gratitude and positive feelings, when I'm able to contrive them, doesn't really have so much to do with circumstance as it has to do with the things that I carry with me. And I've thought a lot about that. It reminds me of a novel that we read sophomore year in high school. I think it was by Tim O'Brien, called The Things They Carried. It was about a Vietnam War troop, and they all carried things, and it listed the things they carried, from ammunition to ponchos to their girlfriend's pantyhose around their neck to love letters to sentimental items of heritage. And then it went on, and you could start to see the layerings of the things they carried went very metaphorical, that it wasn't just the things they literally carried, but it was also the sentiment that those things represented, the metaphors embedded in them, and also it was the memories they carried and the weight of those, and that they carried each other both figuratively and literally, and the whole sense of war that they were carrying. They were carrying their experience and the weight of the war, and how all those different things weighed them down, but also gave them what they needed. And in the end, one of the main characters takes the love letters that he's gotten and he burns them. And this is a very, it's a iffy choice. It's not really clear whether it's good or bad, but it just makes me think about the choices we have about what we carry and what we don't. There is a old Zen story about two monks, an older monk and a younger monk, that are traveling through the woods, and they come to a river that's passing pretty swiftly, and they start to go in it. And there's also a young woman nearby who's also trying to go in, and she asks them for help. Now, the monks have this pact to never touch women, but the older monk says yes, and he picks her up and he carries her across the river and drops her off, and the monks continue on the way. And the younger monk is so aghast, he doesn't know what to say, but he spends like an hour just stewing over it, and then he finally says, why did you pick her up when we've taken this oath not to touch women? And the older monk says, brother, I set her down an hour ago. Why are you still carrying her? So, I think about the stuff we carry and how it weighs us down, and how it's harder to move through life when we're carrying the wrong things, the things that don't serve us, and the things that we haven't sorted out, the things we're still mulling over, and the things that just really distract us from the thing at hand. If we're constantly thinking about these love letters, how can we be present with the dangers of the Vietnam War and whether or not we're going to be shot that day? The struggle between what's going on in our heads and our minds and our hearts, and what's going on in this present moment and what we can do with that. And I am just actually really grateful for the awareness of the weight of some of the things I carry, and for the awareness of the choices that I have that I carry those things, and that I can allow them, and I can say that's a heavy thing, and notice that. And I'm wondering, what things do you find yourself carrying, and do they serve you? Are they good for you, or are they bad? And how long have you carried them? And I'll talk to you next week.